for entertainment purposes only. So you guys are familiar with Peter Pan? Let's start with Peter. So I covered this before. There are two rocks. Unless their rock had abandoned them, unless Adonai had destroyed them. But the rock of other nations is not like our rock. Prayers to their gods are valueless. So Jehoshua is our rock, the bride. Saint Peter, Peter gave you the church. So there's the bride, and then there's the church. So Saint Peter's is Janos. Now for Pan, the great god Pan. That's how you get Peter Pan. He is known as the god of the wild shepherds and flocks because the scripture tells you there's a good shepherd and a bad shepherd. Rustic music. His island was called Neverland. Peter is the leader of the lost boys in Neverland, and those boys never go back home. And speaking of music, Michael Jackson also had a ranch that he named Neverland. There are several reasons why he loved and related himself to the character, never growing up like Peter Pan. Michael Jackson had a strong desire to retain his childlike innocence and spirit throughout his life. You don't get to be the king of pop and not play the game. Are you guys aware that they make diamonds out of ashes? We'll help you celebrate your remarkable loved one by turning their ashes into a diamond. So these are lab-grown diamonds. You guys are familiar with this guy and his list? How about these two boys? They're all over TikTok. They call themselves the Island Boys. They call themselves the Island Boys for a reason, because they were in his island. What you're looking at here is the coronation invitation of King Charles. And this is Pan, the god. I also find interesting that the Greek word for demon is diamond. With that being said, I'm going to play for you a couple of clips that will help to tie everything together.
Savin bragged about being close friends with an extremely high-level individual who specializes in extremely rare and lucrative diamonds. So that's interesting. I wonder if it was Vice Admiral Moore or
my exact comment.
right?
Lab-grown is a term that goes along with organic or natural. I would propose that lab-grown is another term that they use to hide that really what they're selling is diamonds that are made out of humans. Keep in mind with those lab-grown diamonds is that there's a connection with, the SEAL teams that claim to have gone in on Epstein Island. We know that Epstein Island, there, has been video footage as well as pictures of incinerators on that island. And supposedly, there was a mass amount of diamonds that were connected as well to Epstein Island. So it was after all of that that all of a sudden you have these stories about lab-grown diamonds, the military contracts with Aiken Diamond Company, and that connection to Moore. And I think that there is a lot more to that story that needs to be unfolded. Did our U.S. military purchase, children that were incinerated on the Epstein Island? Did they purchase diamonds that were made from those ashes of ritually killed children?
4. Kissing cousins Elizabeth and Philip paid a royal visit to a Catholic residential school for Aboriginal children in Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada. William Coombs was 12 years old at the time of the royal visit. I was an inmate at the Kamloops school when we were visited, said Coombs. I remember it was strange because they came by themselves. No big fanfare or nothing. But I recognized them, and the school principal told us it was the Queen. And we all got given new clothes and good food for the first time in months the day before she arrived. The day the Queen got to the school, I was part of a group of kids that went on a picnic with her and her husband and some of the priests. We went down to a meadow near Dead Man's Creek. I remember it was weird because we all had to bend down and kiss her foot, and she was wearing a white laced boot. After a while, I saw the Queen and her husband leave the picnic with 10 children from the school, and those kids never returned. They took away those 10 kids and nobody ever saw them again. We never heard anything more about them, and we never met them again, even when we were older. They were all from around there, but they all vanished. The group that disappeared was 7 boys and 3 girls in age from 6 to 14 years old. They were all from the smart group in the class. 2 of the boys were brothers, and they were Mady from Quesnel